everybody. I'm Kristi Whitfield. I'm the Director of the Department of Small and Local Business Development, and this is our Build Back Better series. Today, I have with me the two owners of the Brand Guild. Welcome, ladies, and let me ask you to introduce yourselves and your business.
Great. I am Jayne Sandeman. I am the co-founder and co-CEO of the Brand Guild.
And I'm Barbara Martin, also co-founder and co-CEO.
So tell me about the Brand Guild and tell me about what you do for branding and businesses in Washington and beyond.
Sure. So we are a 10-year-old company. We are based in Georgetown. We also have an office in New York, and we do a number of things for our clients in the real estate, hospitality, and consumer lifestyle spaces. So we do public relations, marketing, events, social media, creative. So yeah, a number of things to offer brand, helping them with grow their brands overall.
Okay, so a couple months ago, the entire world swallowed us up and changed. And so everything that we knew is now different. So everything that was hot and hip about a location, everything that made it great, all the foot traffic, all the people, all the density, that was going to make your location wonderful. Now makes it terrifying and scary, and where you're going to catch coronavirus. So, help me.
Sure. I mean, a lot of our clients are in what we call the gathering economy. Their businesses were based on people in large groups being present at their locations. And we've had to help a lot of those clients very quickly pivot to a digital presence, to a virtual presence, when you're taking that away. And so we're talking about everything from hotels to restaurants, to food and beverage products, and really understanding, what is their core competency in this moment. I mean, I think ultimately, what we are trying to do is help brands tell their stories, but ultimately we're connecting them with their customers. And so now we're doing that in a virtual setting, we're doing it online, and some businesses were set up for that perfectly and we're able to flip a switch. And for others, it was a pretty quick turnaround, from our team to say, we're gonna help you make this happen in a short amount of time. And we have some great, exciting success stories, but it's been very, very intense to really sit back with people, help them in this moment and say, what are you offering that people still need? Because at the core of everything, that's what we're trying to do. Is I think every business is trying to say, what are people's needs and how are we filling those? And so we have had folks like Onshow, Cidery, who, we all put everything to digital almost immediately. And then on top of that, it was like, who can we partner with? How can we do things like a CSA? Which is a true need as well, on top of obviously their delicious cider. I believe that cider is a need, but it's really trying to figure out, what are necessities, and fun is a need too. And so lots of clients too are figuring out how can we bring joy to people's lives as well in this time. It's not just about toilet paper and groceries.
Correct. Well, and I think that, connecting with your clients is important. And, say a little bit more about transitioning that relationship to an online platform, because I have seen some people do it very well and some people do it less well. I think that sort of uprooting something and sort of planting it in a digital way is not necessarily as effective, right? So can you talk about sort of how that transition has worked for some clients, and what's the most impactful way to make that transition?
I think the answer is different for everyone. I think a great example is, restaurants right now, as they're trying to figure out how to transition to go and what is the next phase of this going to be. We worked with the restaurants at the Yards, and all the chefs got together and we created a cookbook for them. And then all the proceeds from that cookbook are helping fund the workers that are in those restaurants. And I think that's something where you can order it from home, you already are at home, but you miss those restaurants, you miss gathering, and you want to remember what that all felt like. And you can help small businesses in the process. For some of them, it has been smaller online events. So whether it's bringing a musician into your living room, or bringing an expert that can talk about what they do. We started our own series on our Instagram called Brand Wins, where we're bringing a lot of these company founders in to talk about how they're pivoting. But I think it varies for everybody. But again, to go back to what Jayne said, it's about thinking about what their core competencies are and how do we get in front of their audience.
Well, and I think that core competency has been a really interesting has been a really interesting exploration. You know, I think what you think your core competency is, isn't necessarily what your customers think your core competency is, right? You know, I know we talked to the Founding Farmers owner, where he pivoted from being a restaurateur to being a grocery and delivery. You know, so your core competency, he has great restaurants, but then he had a delivery mechanism that enabled him to provide an entirely different service. You know, and I think that exploration, is I think interesting, because what you think might not always be exactly what your customers think.
I think at the heart of that, oh, sorry to interrupt you. At the heart of that, I think that his core competency is great food. So it's how to put that in the hands and just thinking of a different vehicle to make that happen. And I think
the advantage is that he had distribution channels, and he had those connections to suppliers and producers, which other people couldn't turn around as quickly, which is also really, people are trying to start entire companies from scratch right now. And you have folks like him who already had access to all of those farmers and was able to, on a dime, say, let's flip this around into a CSA style. By the way, their boxes are amazing. So kudos to them.
Yes. Well, so then how do you help people unpack those elements within their brand?
I mean, we definitely feel like we are therapists, business consultants, along with being marketers and PR practitioners and social media experts all at the same time right now. We're talking to people who this is their life's work and need to very quickly say, this has to go on a shelf right now. We do work with a lot of founder-led companies. And I think what we find, and you're an entrepreneur yourself, is that entrepreneurs can't sit still. So everyone in this moment is really driving towards action and change. So everyone's mindset that we work with is really all about, how can we beat yesterday? How can we figure out what things that we can try are? And they're not afraid to try. And that's that great thing about that founder mentality. We're really encouraging folks, what are the things that we can do that are sort of low risk, low investment right now, but not be afraid to try a few things and see what sticks.
And so tell me this, what are the hurdles or the blocks that you see businesses sort of coming up against in that process?
I think for them, it's learning some new skill sets. Delivery is a huge issue for a lot of people too. But I think it's also trying to decide, is this a moment to really retrench with your core customer, or is it a moment to try to find new customers? And I think understanding where you are in that marketing cycle is extremely important. I think some people are spending a lot of money right now trying to gain new customers, and depending what industry you're in, that may not be the right move. The best thing for you right now may be to say, I have these amazing customers. Let me work with them in a way that's going to build brand loyalty to me for decades to come. And that is the best use of this moment for you right now. And that's going to help you more in the long term. And so it's really thinking through, based on what you offer, how you're able to deliver it, like what is the best use of your marketing efforts right now?
Can you talk about the marketing cycle for people that aren't in the biz when you talk about your marketing cycle?
Sure. I mean, I think it's thinking about customer acquisition costs. So how much is it going to cost you as a company to find a new customer? And is that something that's a good expense for you right now? Or do you have a lot of great customers and you can deepen your relationship with them? And that's your ability to talk to them through social media, through email newsletters. These are people for whom you already have their information. And it's how do you talk to them and market to them during this time? And then what campaigns can you build to speak to them in a way that feels appropriate for the moment as well? Or
if you think that it's kind of like a funnel where you've got your core customers at the bottom, there's not a lot of them, but they're so incredibly loyal. The top of that is kind of the world. And it costs a lot to get to those people. So if the goal is to always add to the funnel, so you're always bringing people along with you, but you might be better off just focusing down here with these people and kind of trying to move them up the cycle, and then just trying to go out there in the world.
And now we hear a lot about collaboration and maybe partnering. Now, are you seeing that? Are you seeing a lot of that in your client base in terms of like the mashups and those sorts of things?
Yeah. It's amazing. I mean, when we look at the friends that we have made along the way, and I think we have always been a pretty friendly company and the people that we partnered with, but everybody out there is trying to figure out how to help each other. It really is an amazing time right now. Onshow was a great example where they're partnering with great companies all over the city, and they're all just working together to try to bring their products collectively. And they're sharing customers, they're sharing ideas, and they're creating entirely new products to get in front of these people. And I think it's been amazing to watch.
We started a Slack channel called The Boardroom, which was for business owners across the country, but many of which are regionally. And we even found some partners for clients through that collaborative effort, because it really is a moment in time where everyone is trying to help everyone, especially on this local scale. I mean, I often joke around that I don't want to reemerge in a world where there's only Amazon Olive Garden left. And the only way to make that happen is if you're supporting businesses now so that they can return later. And I think it's so incredibly important as we think about what we're doing with our time and our money and who we're supporting, that we really are keeping local in the front of our minds, or else it's not going to exist. And it's going to be a really long, hard cycle to bring those companies back.
Well, I think that's right. I mean, I think that's what DSLBD is all about. I mean, we're excited that you are a CBE, so I want to make sure we shout that out, that you're a local CBE.
Proud of it.
We want to make sure we are keeping these dollars local and supporting the businesses that are supporting local. Now let me just ask you before we say goodbye, what is the best advice that you would either give, or maybe more importantly that you have gotten in these recent months that you might want to share?
I think it's all about resiliency and about listening to your customers. I think listening is so incredibly important that if you ask people what they want, they will tell you. And then it's a question of how do you fill that need? And I think this is also, the number one thing is this is a moment in time where actions matter. Everyone is being judged not on what they say, not on a cute graphic on Instagram, but I think these businesses are going to be remembered by what they did. And I think that doesn't need to be a 6-figure check to a nonprofit, but it needs to show that you are supporting your community and that you are living your values right now. And ultimately, actions versus words, I think, are going to win the day for loyal and long-term customers.
And I think that matters inside your company as well. And transparency with your team is so incredibly important right now. Telling them what's going on, giving them all the facts, letting them be part of the process, letting them be part of the solution has been incredibly important for us right now. And I think it's important for everyone.
Well, I think that's right, especially in a time where we don't have all the answers, where we have seen the world change, in a moment, on a dime, in a news cycle. I think that the more that we are able to sort of engage honestly, engage transparently, I think then it makes it easier for us to take the next step, whatever that next step is. Tell people how to get in touch with you when they need your help.
Go to thebrandguild.com, follow us on Instagram @thebrandguild, as well as Facebook and Twitter.
Wonderful. Well, I want to thank you both for coming out and for offering to talk with us, because, I think sometimes people think that their branding isn't necessarily the first dollar that they want to spend. But I want to take a moment and say that, these are the ways that people find people. These are the ways that people find business. I think that it is important, as we are sort of building this series, that, businesses that want to help people build back, we wanted to thank you for talking to us, and we want to make sure that people can find businesses like yours, local CBEs that want to help. So thank you very much. I'm Kristi Whitfield. I'm the director of the Department of Small and Local Business Development, and this is our Build Back Better series. Thank you for watching.